Hey, so let's chat. Let's chat about my encounter with the sweetheart swindler. Okay? No, so before he was the sweetheart swindler, um, I was leaving the nail shop April 2017. So I'm leaving the nail shop. I'm getting ready to turn out onto the street to go home. And so as I'm getting ready to turn out onto the street, the car that is coming kind of like stops, right? Like not stops, but hesitates to keep going. Like, so I look at him, he looks at me, and he like starts waving me to pull over. And I'm not going to lie, like off first glance, he was cute. And at that time, I was trying to make more of an effort to meet men the old fashioned way, you know, not on Instagram, not on social media, but seeing them out like a chance encounter, right? So he waves me over. I pull over. It's broad daylight. It's a White Castle's parking lot. It's people in the lot. So, you know, I'm like, okay, this is pretty safe. There are people around. So I get out, and he gets out, and he's like, hey, my name is Chris. I'm 29. Starts telling me how he thinks I'm gorgeous, all this other stuff. So he tells me he's coming from Christ Hospital, and he's a neurosurgeon. So me, I'm a doctor. Okay. So I'm like, okay. So, you know, he's telling me how he just got done doing this philanthropy project, collecting some gaming system for the kids to donate, all this other stuff. I'm like, okay, you know, that's cute. So then he's like, oh, do you have any kids? I'm like, no. He's like, I'm like, what about you? He like, yeah, I got 3. Me, I'm like, no. So he like, but they came Corsos. I'm like, okay, you're a dog dad. How cute. You know, that's fine. So he's like, you know, you should take my number down. We should go out, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. So we exchanged numbers, going about our day. And the guy, I'm thinking like, God, is that you? You finally heard my prayers? Like, so I get home, and he starts texting me. And so I'm going to show you all the very first text exchange. Okay, y'all, so about light because it's getting dark out. But anyway, so that happens. And, you know, the money, of course, caught me off guard because I'm like, okay, like, unless you finna come take me shopping, I really don't give a fuck. Like, don't. So, you know, I'm thinking at the time, like, you know, usually when men show money, they're either A, trying to overcompensate, or B, sometimes they're just flashy, you know. And I'm a Leo. I like the center of attention ass nigga. So a little flashy ain't never been a problem to me. So anyway, so I'm like, okay, you know, that's what I replied. Like, okay, that's cute. So then I asked him for his last name. Because I'm really trying to get in the habit of getting people's last names. Because, you know, somebody for all this time don't even know what the fuck their last name is. So anyway, I asked him. And he's like, oh, it's long and hyphenated. I'm like, that's okay. Like, what is this? So he like, yeah, I'm good on giving you my last name. That was red flag number 1. It was some more before then, but that was really the first time I'm like, okay, why you don't want nobody to know your last name? So I'm like, oh, I'm not going to press the issue. So after he sent the picture of that money, I'm like, you sure you're not a drug dealer? And he's like, is that what you think of me? And I'm like, well, it was just a joke. Like, neurosurgeons don't typically walk around with stacks of cash like that. So he asked what I'm doing later. And I'm like, you know, I have plans, but if you're trying to link up, we could plan for something later on in the week. So he's like, okay, I'm getting ready to call you. So he calls me, and this is the part that's a little fuzzy for me. Again, this happened a while ago, so I'm recreating some of the details. So he goes, he calls me and just starts making small talk. Further kind of talking about like what he does. He tells me he lives in Orland Park. So the conversation kind of happened in 2 pieces. So the first piece, he was talking about how he asked me what I like to do to go, you know, what I like to do when I go out or whatever. So I'm like, you know, the typical stuff. I like eating and, you know, trying new things, just having fun. So I was like, you know, the only thing I really don't care for on a first date is going to the movies, because I feel like you can't really get to know somebody at a show, you know, at a show or whatever. So then before I can even finish my statement, he's like, oh, well, no, like that's just kind of negative. Because when you go to the show with somebody, you could get to know them. You can see how they cuddle. You can see how they smell, and you can talk before the show and after the show. And he just was like going on and on and on. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know, that's just my personal opinion. Like, you don't have to condemn me because this is, you asked, so I'm telling you, you know, what my do's and don'ts are. He like, I need my women to be open. So I'm like, all right. So then we enter into the second part of the conversation where, you know, he's like, yeah, I live in Orland Park. I got a really nice house, but I really need, it needs a woman's touch. You know, I'm looking for a woman that's going to be submissive and listen and do what I say. And y'all knowing me, I'm like, so I'm like, yeah, that's cute and all. However, I'm somebody that believes like submission is earned. Like, you just can't go out there submitting to every man, because every man doesn't know how to lead. And so, baby, before I could even get my sentence out my mouth, he's, oh, well, that's negative. And you're just really negative. And I don't understand like why you just can't say anything positive. And so I was like, well, you don't really know me to make that judgment. I don't think I'm negative. I'm just really being real with you and letting you know, like, that shit is dead, basically. So then this is the gag. Then he goes, oh, see, no, you're just too negative, and I think you're just a little too hood for me, so this isn't going to work. Have a nice life. And this nigga hangs up the phone on me. So at that point, I'm sitting there, like, laughing, because, like, I felt something was off, you know? So to, like, have this nigga have this whole tantrum, I was like, this is really my life. Like, when I tell people that wild shit be happening to me, I do not be playing. So, because I've dealt with a crazy nigga or two in my day, I knew he wasn't done. Something in my spirit told me he wasn't finished getting everything off of his chest. So then he texted me. And so now I'm going to include the messages that followed. Look at this shit. First of fucking all, this nigga pulled up in a 300C. A 300C. And let's just be clear. Back then, I was still in my Honda, not in my Jeep Wrangler. Because I was still in school and I had anticipated getting another car after the fact. But bitch, how you gonna fucking try to judge my car and you pulled me over in that motherfucker? But you know what that tells me? Step one of predatory behavior. He was specifically looking for somebody who looked like they would have less than he had. So therefore, he could impress them with all of this materialistic shit that I don't even believe he has. So that's number one. I'm going to let y'all finish reading the rest of the messages. Baby, when them fat ass paragraphs start coming through my phone, I knew for a fact that this nigga was a fraud. He's a fraud. Anybody with a high school level of education would know that this man clearly has a 4th grade level of education. No periods, no commas, doesn't know the difference between woman and women. Like, just, oh, like, I was like, You a bold-faced lie. You don't, tell me what stand for that. What city is Stanford in? That's what I should have asked that nigga. Like, because you're lying. Like, and the whole, like, oh, we can fuck. But, like, he was clearly barking up the wrong caliber of tree. Like, I'm not no bottom bitch. I come from 2-parent household, good money, like, ain't never wanted for shit. Like, so you judged me off of this card thinking I was gonna be one of these little ass, lost, vulnerable ass, impressionable ass women, and didn't know you was dealing with a boss in the making, baby. I was in grad school getting my master's. Like, it wasn't shit that man could ever do, a man could ever do, to impress me with some shit I know was a lie. Like, you a neurosurgeon, but you walking around taking pictures with a Gucci shoe and stacks. Like, come on, cut it out. Now, you know a man crazy if he tell you have a nice life and proceeds to contact you. Like, women, you could catch most women doing that shit, and it doesn't mean anything. But when a man does it, baby, you better take heed, because he is loco, okay? So yeah, the whole situation was just wow. And what I just really think is crazy is, for one, this was a 2-hour interaction. 2 hours from the time I met this man to the time I got all these crazy ass text messages. And you're already obsessive. Predatory behavior. And you know, something that I initially took from that situation is, I feel like when we really want something, sometimes the devil will send shit that's dressed up as in disguise as everything you would want. Everything you would want. The devil sends shit like that. Just to see if you're gonna fold. And thank God I'm covered. And I have a spirit of discernment and common fucking sense enough to be able to deter from foolishness like that. So after that incident, never had any other interaction with Buddy. Remember, that's April 2017. Fast forward to November 2017, and look what I saw in the news. And people were sending this shit to me because I told the story on Snapchat right after it happened. So I'm going to post the article for y'all to see.
Called the Sweetheart Swindler, police in Northwest Indiana believe there may be more victims in several states. And tonight, he is charged with rape, kidnapping, and intimidation.
Investigators say 3 cities he charmed women there and took emotional and financial advantage of them. Evelyn Holmes is joining us tonight with new information.
Well, Northwest Indiana police are sharing more details about the man they say ripped off women, hoping more victims will come forward. They say Leonard Adams used his charm to swindle women, and when that didn't work, he resorted to violence. They call him the Sweetheart Swindler, but investigators say there's nothing nice about 32-year-old Leonard Adams, who's accused of scamming several women by exploiting them sexually, emotionally, and financially.
The women that Mr. Adams has allegedly taken advantage of are someone's grandmother, mother, sister, and/or daughter.
The Maryville, Indiana native has been charged with rape, kidnapping, fraud, intimidation, and theft in connection with his alleged crimes against at least 4 women ranging in age from 21 to 59 years old. He usually passed himself off as a neurosurgeon or high-stakes poker player looking to buy toys for a charity, but would intimidate and threaten them if they didn't do what he said. In one case, he's accused of sexually assaulting a 26-year-old woman when she didn't comply with his demands for money. Adams was spotted in a local coffee shop with the victim.
He made sure to order for her and come back to the table, and yeah, it was super off.
The incidents occurred over the last year, beginning in November of 2016. That's when he allegedly conned the youngest victim, an Illinois woman, into buying thousands of dollars in electronics after asking her out on a date. Adams did the same thing to another victim, a 27-year-old he got to open credit accounts at Best Buy and other electronics stores before letting her go.
Matching it with all the other agencies, reports, that's how we all collaborated to get to facilitate more charges.
Investigators say Adams operated in Las Vegas, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin, calling himself Sean Christopher West, or Christopher West, while running his cons. Well-spoken, he used his charm to get a 59-year-old woman to buy him a Rolex and expensive coins in June. He later pawned them for his profit.
To play on the trust of people and violate them that way, it says a lot about his character, or the lack thereof.
In all, Adams is accused of ripping off a total of close to $70,000 from those women. Police say in the last 24 hours, 6 more women have come forward. accusing Adams of conning them. Now, Leonard Adams remains behind bars at the Lake County Jail, and police are saying if you...
You know, you want to try to see the best in people, but ladies, if something isn't sitting right in your spirit about a man, listen to that. We are literally blessed with women's intuition. I fully believe in that. Listen to your gut. Follow your instincts. If something doesn't seem right, or unfortunately, if something just seems too good to be true, don't ignore red flags. Don't ignore the signs that somebody is manipulative, is controlling, any of those things, because it may come off cute in the beginning. Oh, they really love me. They really care about me. But that is abusive behavior, and it's a big part of what he does is grooming. So making you feel good, letting you see that, oh, I got some shit going for myself, so I would never do that to a woman. Baby, it's a setup. Okay? So I share this, you know, hope it gave you some laughs, but I hope it also, like, let a lot of women in on the fact that these niggas are crazy. Okay? And it's people are crazy in general, but we have to be careful out here. Okay? So y'all have a blessed evening. Stay warm. Hope you enjoyed.